I'm sure for a lot of people, when you read this chapter, like it's an influx of information. Oda likes to give us a lot of situations where there is a problem that is put in front of us, but we already know that the problem may be solved, right? May be solved in the current, but he keeps us locked in because us completionists as One Piece fans, we want to know every single detail. And this chapter is one of those chapters where he holds his hand out with some information. As soon as we get close to the source, and come here, we're not getting it till 2 weeks from now. We're on break. Oh. One Piece, chapter 1098. It is titled "The Birth of Bonnie." And first things first, the first thing that we need to talk about, absolutely, is what I talked about in my last video 14 years ago. So when does Bonnie come about? Because I don't want this to become a weird, pedo situation with anybody that ever had any kind of any kind of any kind of admiration for Bonnie. If she's like truly 8 years old, like that's weird. And I ain't trying to put no points like that on Sanji, because you know how Sanji is. I said that it is going to create some bad things if Bonnie is a young girl, because right now she is being portrayed as a girl that is 20 or around Luffy's age, grown, right? But after reading this chapter, we now know when Bonnie popped up on Luffy's ship as a young girl, that was her true age. That little girl is actually Bonnie in her 12-year-old form. But the grown Bonnie that we know of, that's not her. And every single person that has ever opened an eye up to her, yeah, you're done. Can I just firstly say that this chapter was a lot to take in. This was a lot to take in. A lot of information, a lot of pinpointed accuracies, 100% accuracy, whole bunch of stuff right here, and it's getting shot right into the brain. Whole lot of information. So I'm sorry if this video is a little longer than the normal ones. I'm honestly having a hard time structuring this video how I usually do, because you all know what we really want to talk about, but I want to go through the whole chapter. But man, it's hard to not talk about that right now. So the chapter starts with the Revolutionary Army, with Ivanka and Kuma currently talking at the HQ in Baltigo. And apparently the revolutionaries is at war right now with the Goa Kingdom because they're trying to overthrow something to do with their current hierarchy that's messed up, and they're trying to make the hierarchy not messed up. Fun fact about Goa, it's literally down the street from Fuchsia Village, where the GOAT is currently, I just did the math, Luffy currently is 7 years old. So all this is happening. So while all this is happening, the beginning of One Piece is happening. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. So we get a nice hard look on how Kuma feels about Jenny being captured. And ever since she's been captured, he has been very reckless since that happened. And obviously, with what we know, is he had feelings for Jenny. Like that's his best friend. Or if he wanted to take it further than that, that was his, yeah. And she got captured before he could truly take her in as his wife, because he felt like that would make her happy. But whenever that happened, this is where we get the bad news. And he takes off to Goa Kingdom, gets rid of the fodder, and they end up winning the war over there. And some more time passes. It's been 2 years since Jenny has been captured, and we find out it's like that. It's the part that hurts. Like it's like teeth grinding, that she was captured because a celestial dragon seen her and wanted her to be his wife, bro. And this chapter gets even more and more and more like, I don't like you for this chapter, Oda. But next chapter we'll be cool by then. But right now, I don't like you for what you're doing. I don't like this. I don't like this. So Jenny actually, after the 2 years, calls the revolutionaries, and they call Kuma to the phone, and they're like, hey, Jenny's on the phone. And she says that this phone call is gonna be her version of a goodbye because she's sick. And Kuma, of course, isn't having it. He's able to find where she's at, and when he gets to her, it's already over. When she called them, this was like her last spurt. She was already at death's door. And for Kuma to shoot out and try to get to Sorbet where she's at, I forgot to mention, like, when all this was going on, after the war was over, Kuma said he was worn out. Like he was completely, he was done. And he said, like, he was so worn out, he was like, all right, I'll just return by ship so he can get some rest. The second that he heard about Jenny, flew off, got gone all the way to Sorbet. And whenever he got there, it was too late. And the last thing that she said to Kuma is that she loves him, she always has, and she always will. In the gotcha of, why, Oda, why? He pulls up on Jenny and he sees these weird blue stones all across her body that is like grown out of her skin, and her skin has hardened like stone, and it's these blue stones that's all over her body. Her face, her entire body, it's all blue from these stones that's covered her. And when I first read this, I was like, whoa, I ain't never heard of nothing like that. And there with Jenny, she has a baby that she had with the celestial dragon, and the baby ends up being Bonnie. And remember, so while all this is going on, this baby is freshly born, or maybe this baby is 2 years old, but I don't think any babies are like still in this, like, are still in like the little wraparound, you know what I mean, at 2 years old. Unless this is like let's just assume this is like, I wouldn't say a freshborn, but like a freshborn baby. And this baby was born when Luffy was 7. And this baby is Bonnie. And Kuma decided to take care of Bonnie. And yeah, add Jenny to the list of One Piece mothers that ended up passing away. Man, Oda, you just, man, it's like, this is what we've been asking for, like getting the real spiel news on like One Piece mothers and stuff. But after this, you know what? You can just stop. Like, this was like this just, wow, bro. Like, this puts Kuma's backstory, I wouldn't even say backstory, life story. Yeah, top 5 saddest. Top 5 saddest. Might be top 3 now. I'm not gonna cap. Be top 3. Wow, bro. Like, damn. But the emotion kind of changes as we see Kuma is starting to take care of Bonnie. All of the old villagers of Sorbet that are in the southern part of it, they're helping him learn how to take care of Bonnie. The first thing that they said is, you need to put a literal iron cage around where she sleeps, because your big ass better not smush this baby. And that's exactly what he did. And we slowly see Bonnie grow up a little bit while Kuma is still working with the Revolutionary Army. We actually see a panel of Sabo and you know, his beginnings and how he got, this actually could be him training with Kuma, because Sabo didn't fight with the revolutionaries. The celestial dragon shot the bomb onto his ship, and Dragon was the one that saved him. So this is actually Sabo training with Kuma, is what I'm looking at. And the emotion changes once again. Some members of the revolutionaries, or no, it's not revolutionaries. These are members of the Society of Sorbet. These are some civilians. They walk into the church where Kuma currently is, and he has boarded up all the windows, and he is kind of locked in all by himself with Bonnie, and on her face are a few blue stones. And if I didn't mention it, this illness, it festers and it blooms in natural light. So you're almost like a vampire. And when you come outside into that natural light, I guess more and more stones start to grow out of your skin. And for Jenny to have all of those stones grow around her skin just pisses me off even more at the celestial dragons. And it just confuses me even more to why Kuma did what he did. Like, why get rid of your humanity after like all you've been through, bro? Like, Kuma, I'm really trying to I'm really trying to lock in with you because, like, Kuma, you're about to become like one of my favorite characters, bro. I'm not gonna cap to you after this. And you was already up there, but damn, Kuma. So yeah, Bonnie, unfortunately, at the age of, I don't know, she looks really young. Not too far from when we get like a confirmed age. Very young. And there's a lot of people trying to call doctors and stuff like that in order to find out exactly what's going on with Bonnie. And this leads to Kuma having to quit the revolutionaries because he needs to take care of Bonnie because she has the same illness that her mother had. And Dragon calls in his favors around the world and tries to find a doctor in order to diagnose Bonnie, which he ends up finding a doctor. So we have a nice time skip. So not a time skip, but we're shown exactly what time it is and where we are currently with the time. So we see a 5-year-old Bonnie, and this is 7 years ago. Luffy right now is 19. So this is when Luffy is 12. So when Luffy was 12, Bonnie was 5, which means that Bonnie is 12 years old, bro. We'll see how this all loops in and patches in, but that's kind of crazy, bro. Some kids are messing with Bonnie, saying the vampire is gonna eat us, and they're trying to goad her into coming outside. You know, just kids being dickheads, bro. And we actually get a doctor that Dragon sent that can diagnose Bonnie, and we learned that she has sapphire stones. Now we didn't get any like clarification on like how it is gotten, but it is just a terminal illness, and Jenny had it, or maybe Jenny contracted it from the celestial dragons or the celestial dragon that she was with. That's what I can assume because she never had it before, but only 2 years after she got captured, now she has sapphire stones. And it seems that this illness can be passed down from generation to generation because Jenny got it, had Bonnie, and now Bonnie has it. And of course, Kuma's trying to be a good father and saying they're not like sapphire stones and they're jewels. And that shows us how she came up with her last name, Jory Bonnie. And I'm wondering why she never decided to Kuma's last name. Maybe that's something we'll get some context on because next chapter, I'm sure we're gonna continue the Kuma backstory. 2 weeks, man, this is about to hurt a lot, bro. This is gonna hurt. So the doctor tells us that Bonnie has got until she's 10 years old before the illness is gonna take her. But from what we see, this could be two things, right? This could be two things because Bonnie is 7 years old, and that would mean that right now, I mean, Bonnie's 5 years old, so that means that right now, 5 years later, when she turns 10, she's gonna pass away. But 2 years later, that's where we currently are in One Piece, and she's still alive, and we don't see any stones on her. I just took a second to look up a picture of Bonnie. So right now, right now what we're looking at with Bonnie, what we're looking at, she's got like this earring. She's got this earring where the sapphire stones were on her body. So is the disease cured, or I don't know yet, but I'll let the chapters let me know. But right now, there's nothing currently. There's nothing currently on her face because what made me think about this is I was always thinking, wasn't there something like on Bonnie's face where the sapphire stones was? And I thought it was a band-aid, but it's like an earring. And if it was a band-aid, then that would have been crazy that like it turns out the stones was under the band-aid, but no, there's just like an earring under her eye. Okay. So something happened, or she's just hiding it. So yeah, Bonnie has the terminal illness sapphire stones. The doctor says she's not gonna make it until she's 10. Obviously, she makes it a couple of more years after that. Something happens where the disease gets cured. I just hope that the first thing that came to my mind when I thought of, because it's an incurable disease. First thing I thought of was Law. Second thing that I thought of was Kuma taking that disease from her, but he said that he can only take mild illnesses, not terminal diseases, but maybe Kuma takes it for himself. And that could explain how he was able to live on because he got rid of his humanity and turned into a robot because he had the sapphire stones, but I don't know. Like, there's a lot of routes that this could go. There's a lot of routes. So Bonnie is 5 years old, and we would assume that, you know, she's just able to easily get through the next 5 years in order for her to, or at least find out that if she'll be cured or not, because in order to protect Bonnie's innocence, he just tells her that she'll be cured by the time she's 10 years old. And they kind of go through, you know, places that she wants to go when she gets older. Like, she'll go to Fishman Island when she turns 19, and then she'll go to Skypiea when she turns 20. But of course, something happens, and Sorbet, after a year later, she's 6 years old. King Beckery comes back to Sorbet and starts bombing and torching and setting everything on fire because he wants to get rid of everybody in the South because they're terrible, which means that Dragon didn't kill Beckery when they took over Sorbet the first time. I don't really want any context on this, for real, for real. Whatever happened, Beckery got out, came back, took his rightful place on the throne. But all I need to see is next time Kuma pulls up on Beckery, thank you, please and thank you, bro. I'm sick of seeing him, bro. So with him torching the South right now, that means that Bonnie is gonna have to come outside, and we will see what happens with that, bro. Because this is crazy. Because if she's forced to go outside, that's gonna make those blue stones fester more and more. And but assuming with how we see Bonnie right now, post time skip, post everything current One Piece, she doesn't have any stones. And when we seen her in her younger form, let me confirm, because you know I'm not perfect. Let me confirm. When she was on Luffy's ship as a kid, only had the earring, no sapphire stones. So we will see how Bonnie is cured of this disease, probably next chapter or the chapter after that. But we're gonna learn how she gets cured of this disease because she has no choice but to go outside right now. She has no choice. And that's where he cuts the chapter. We are on break. This has been a crazy span of chapters, and man, King Beckery came back after 16 years. Like, you couldn't have just gave it up, bro. I don't know, bro. That's crazy. Like, how much of a grudge do you gotta hold? And just a Beckery, that's petty, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's petty. It's ultra petty, bro. Ultra petty. And that's gonna be the end of the chapter. And next chapter, it'll most likely continue in the Kuma flashback and dealing with King Beckery 16 years later. And we will see, because we're getting close to current times. It seems like we're getting a whole Kuma flashback. And if that is the case, then we're gonna learn even more stuff, because the closer we get to current times, the closer we get to getting that juicy, juicy, juicy information. You know what I mean? And let me know what you guys think in the comments about this chapter. This chapter was a crazy one, bro. This is gonna be a longer video. I can already tell. Let me see how long I've been recording real quick. Damn. W chapter.